Hi, it's Brian from Old Roommates. The following episode was recorded prior to the release of Investigation Discovery's documentary, Quiet on Set, detailing, among other things, accusations made against Better Off Dead co-star Dan Schneider. No references to Schneider, his Nickelodeon productions, or the documentary are discussed. Enjoy the episode. Welcome, everyone, to Old Roommates. Today on the show, we revisit 1985's Better Off Dead. So grab your $2 and get ready as we revisit this 80s classic.
Welcome, everyone, to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. This is Christina.
And this is Brian.
And we revisited Better Off Dead this week, or we'll be revisiting Better Off Dead this week. 1985, John Cusack. Is that how you pronounce that?
I love how you say, you do that every time.
What?
Isn't it Cusack? Like Q on Q?
I say Cusack.
You say Cusack.
You say Cusack. I say Cusack. Wait. Curtis Armstrong's in it.
Directed by Savage Steve Holland, who I believe... Did he also do One Crazy Summer, which we revisited?
I believe so.
Yeah.
In fact, they kind of refer to One Crazy Summer as sort of a sequel.
Oh, okay.
So it's not the same characters or anything, but
Yeah.
it's sort of a sequel.
All right.
In any case,
Yes.
we are going to start this episode as we always do.
Yeah.
Brian, what is your history with Better Off Dead?
Sure. So this released August 3rd, 1985. I saw this movie on VHS, I believe. Or at least on TV or something. But it was pretty early on in the, like, when it was out. I don't think I saw it in the movie theater, but it was definitely the 80s when I saw it. And I used to laugh, and laugh. The paper boy with his $2, the little animation, the little drawings he would do, all the skiing hijinks and the slapstick and blowing up the mother with the gasoline and all that kind of stuff, and all the suicide attempts, and when he jumps off the bridge but lands or he gets knocked off the bridge and lands in the
Right.
every suicide attempt I laughed, every gross meal I laughed. Every Paperboy joke, I laughed. So I really enjoyed this back then. How about you, Christina?
Finally! I also loved this movie back then.
Nice!
I remember watching this with my sister, and I swear we must have rented it 1,000,000 times. We thought this was the funniest movie ever written, ever made.
Yeah.
We, again... laughing. Everything that showed up was hilarious.
Yes.
Even the racing with the cars.
Yeah.
Right? And
Howard Cosell. Yeah.
the, Ricky was like so gross and the mom was funny. And of course everybody quotes that.
I want my $2.
I want my $2. Still, to this day, you hear that. I want my $2. You can't say $2 without thinking, I want my $2.
That's right. Yeah.
Hilarious, over the top, crazy, zany, zany fun, and then there was even a little bit of a romance in there as well.
Yeah.
Which was cute. So yeah, I used to love this movie.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so now, let's dive into...
Now, when did you watch it?
I rewatched this on, I'm going to say probably almost a week ago.
Oh,
almost
very
a week
nice.
ago. When did you rewatch it?
A few days ago, I watched it with Matt.
Oh, nice. Okay. I watched it by myself. So let's discuss. My first note is I never noticed all of his crazy stalker photography of Beth everywhere.
Same? Oh my god, that's one of my first
everywhere
notes
in
too.
his room. That did not age well for me.
No, stalker much? That's what I wrote. You did not write that.
I wrote stalker much. I didn't even write stock much. I wrote stalker much.
That is so
I wrote
funny.
all the photos of Beth everywhere.
And of course, I think we laughed about it back then, right? When you first
Yeah, if I
saw
even noticed it
it's
at
like,
all.
oh my gosh, look at all the pictures he
Well,
has.
but
That's
also
so
to
funny.
be-
I
we
remember
talked about-
finding it funny.
We talked about this a few weeks ago when we talked about Mickey, Tony Basil video, because I feel like that feels like something a teenager would do. You
Right.
obsess over people. So I don't even know if I laughed that much then. I probably was like, yeah, that's normal.
I think I laughed. I thought it was funny.
And it just starts. This movie is so much more wacky in its style and tone. There's no consistent style to this movie to speak of than I remembered. I did write my third note is everyone is either weird or awful. Mm-hmm. And then the struggle began.
Oh boy.
Yeah. There were things I just kind of wrote overall. It's like for every joke I'm laughing at, there's like 3 that just aren't working for me anymore. Or even just aren't working. Like I'm like, how did I find this so funny then? But I was young and immature, I guess.
Sure.
So John Cusack plays Lane Meyer. I will say, thank God John Cusack is cute in this because he is a tough character to get behind.
Yeah,
he is hard to root for.
Yep, he is. I agree.
Yep. I really liked, as much as he is a cokehead, I loved Charles.
I loved him too, and I think when we revisited One Crazy Summer, I think he was another character that we really liked.
But my least favorite, this is all very early on.
Sure.
I'm still in the first 3 lines of my notes. The worst character, my least favorite character. Do you want to guess?
Is it the brother?
The mother.
Oh, the mother. Oh, she's just a cartoon
man.
character.
Oh, she's painfully bad in this.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of wish she was more. I wish she had more confidence because I think that would have been funnier. Like still screw up all the dinners.
Yeah, just being like, "Hey, look at
Look
the
at
meal
like
I made
what
for
I
you."
made.
Yes.
Like take charge. Like be like, oh, if she was confident and awful versus dumb and sad and awful, it would have been much funnier.
Yeah, way too mousy.
Ugh. Painful.
But you're missing one of my favorite characters from this round that I've never even noticed.
The father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The father, he's a good guy in this. He's not awful and he's not weird. He's just a regular guy. And he's trying to basically manage this entire family in his own way. He has no respect whatsoever from anybody.
Fair, but I question why he would stay stay married to her.
I mean, true, but
she's
he does
boiling
have the kids.
bacon, Christina. The bacon is green
Because she's doing it for him. He said that he didn't like all the grease
That's
from
true.
bacon.
Yeah.
So she's boiling it. So there's a kind heart in there somewhere. But I couldn't believe how much I related with the father. I'm like, oh my God, this poor guy. I never even noticed him before.
Yeah, and like him stressing about the windows of the garage.
The garage, yes, and he's so excited when he ran down in time.
Yep.
And even just trying to get Lane to focus on college and the car and the
yes.
You know, you bring this when you're gonna go out and then have a job and get over Beth. Like he seems like a real
That's fair.
father.
That's fair. Maybe the best character in this,
Yeah,
perhaps,
I think so.
besides Charles. Okay. Why is the breakup off camera? I feel like it's such a pinnacle thing, like to this movie that I was like, I kind of wanted to see that. I feel like it could have been funny. But remember, this leads to him wanting to commit suicide.
Yes.
She doesn't, because you hear her say, I just feel like, well, I guess it's like, you don't see you don't quite see the knife in the heart, but you hear her kind of leading up to it. Like, she just feels that she should be with someone more popular.
Right.
Yeah. With a nicer car.
Yes.
But this sends him off on a downward spiral.
Yes. Well, because he's obsessed with her. He's been obsessed with her for 6 months.
I kind of wanted a longer, like a funnier, more drawn out, painful scene. I think that would have been more interesting.
That would have been a little more interesting. I agree.
Okay. She is awful. Beth is awful.
She's terrible. I hated her then.
Yeah.
I didn't hate her as much now, but
Okay.
she's a terrible person.
Yeah, I was like, where's Freddy Krueger when you need her? You need him. Because she's killed by Freddy Krueger in
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
Quite graphically.
That's really funny.
Here's what's funny for me. It's so I have my closed captions on always.
Yeah.
And so the skiing thing is K-12.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, that's so funny. Because, like, if I was a new skier, I've never skied in my life, and I went up to something that said K-12, I'd be like, oh, this must be for, like, kids. Like, kindergarten through 12.
It's
12,
a school.
12, yeah.
That's so funny. I never would have thought of that.
I wonder how many people have, like, fallen to their deaths going down the K-12.
Oh my gosh.
Suicide is never the answer, little trooper. Charles is great.
He's great.
What a good friend. Good friend.
He is a really good friend. He's always there, although he was going to try to train him for the K-12. And he showed up like once, I think.
We got sidetracked with all the snow.
The snow. He's like,
snorting snow.
The street value for all this?
The brother's name is Badger.
Mm-hmm.
He is 7. He doesn't have a single line.
Not one word. Yeah. I
Yeah.
know. Isn't that so funny?
I did like him.
He was funny. Yeah. He was funny. I liked the whole... he's just so weird and just doing his own thing.
But it's working.
But it works.
He's successful.
And he's standing in there. He's like, why do you mess around with
this
all this
laser
little kid stuff? You're smarter than that. He just like puts on his glasses. He lasers the thing next to him.
I enjoyed that.
I really enjoyed that.
I enjoyed him getting all the trashy, quote unquote, trashy women in his room.
Oh my gosh. So funny.
He's a good character.
Yeah.
4 weeks. 20 papers is $2. Can you imagine?
Cash.
$2. So
I didn't ask what he's like. Oh, what did he say? Because he's like da 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 da. He's like, I didn't ask for that. I asked for $2. He's so scary.
It's really done well. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And what's funny is when that kid auditioned, he's the only one that played it like mafia. Like a tough kid. Everyone else just played it like more annoying kid. Yeah. He played it like tough kid with the jackknife comb.
Worked.
And it worked. He got the role.
Yep.
The ripped open cereal boxes did not...
annoying.
It didn't charm me this time.
No, it really
I laughed
didn't.
a lot when I was a kid.
What I did laugh about was after... He was complaining to himself, and then he went to get the cat food. He had to, and that one's cut out.
Yeah,
that made me chuckle.
Yeah,
because he's not noticing.
Pouring all along the floor,
over, and then he pours it into his dish to eat. Yeah, that made me laugh. But yeah, the first couple, I'm like, oh my God, that's so annoying.
There were things I laughed out loud about. Mm-hmm. I really laughed at all the breakup songs on the radio.
Oh my gosh.
Which is so real. Very real.
So real.
Very relatable.
Loved that.
I also laughed out loud with... Loved that. Although it goes on just a little too long. But how excited the kids are in geometry class.
Oh my gosh.
This is so weird. But I really loved it.
Yeah, I laughed too.
Yeah.
And then they're just so excited.
Unexpected.
That's what I really liked about it. It's very unique stuff in here. And then they're like, all right. And then like they're clapping. And then they all bring out all their big notes. And then you see Lane sitting and he's like opening up a piece of paper with gum in it.
Very funny.
Do homework. But yes. And then they get upset when the bell rings. And, oh my gosh.
Lane, I've been going to this high school for 7.5 years. Amazing. Really funny line. I also laughed with Beth and Roy dressing the same.
Oh my gosh, instantly.
I laughed. I was like, you know what? I don't think I caught that when I was a kid. I really laughed.
I don't think I did either. You talked about the class.
Yep. Sorry, I know I'm jumping like crazy.
Yeah. No, that's okay. I'm just looking now here. The class, the teacher is from Ghost.
Yes.
He's the scary ghost in Ghost. And... and then he's like, I need a volunteer, and they're all like, please. You hear people like, please. So funny. Oh, the first meeting, I thought that was funny too. When he flashes back, he has a dream of Lane and Beth first meeting, and you're hearing their thoughts. He's like,
the nose.
She just touched her nose.
Yeah,
I must have something in my nose. That one brought me back. I used to think it was hilarious. I still thought it was really funny.
Yeah. I couldn't remember what movie that was from. And then I was like, oh, this is the movie.
Oh, it's this. Yeah. What else? Did I miss anything else? Ricky's mom. You meet you meet Ricky's mom. She was funny. I thought she was funny. Very annoying. But she was a funny character.
Oh, great character.
Laura Waterbury.
Definitely better than Lane's mom.
Oh, and this is what I wrote down too. I was shocked that there was no narration in this movie. For some reason, I felt like there was narration. Even just like...
With the illustrations.
No, just like him talking about his life a little bit. Like, I was shocked. In it, mostly when the Asian men pull up on the car and it starts going, and I was waiting for him to say, you know, and he tells Monique later what it is.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I felt like there was narration in the movie, and it was like so funny. I'm like, no narration? Interesting, right? Okay, so anyways. So, and then the teacher asks Lane if he can ask Beth out.
And
then drives by with her in the car. I mean, little things like that made me chuckle.
I was probably laughing too much at this. In, you know, with my middle-aged brain, some of this stuff was still working for me.
Right.
Then, so let's see. So then, Jell-O as cocaine joke. He's like snorting the Jell-O, which is so gross.
So gross.
I wrote, Charles is a good friend and a total mess.
Yes.
Lane on skates was pretty funny.
Well, and I was like, why is she skating around the school?
Yeah.
It was weird.
Like, no, she dates the team. She dates the whole team. And they're all like grunting and growling.
It's basketball, which is funny. I thought it was really funny. It would be the basketball. Like, wouldn't it be a football team?
Maybe that's why she wears skates, to be
because she's tall. Oh my gosh, she just put it together for me all these years.
Lane is cute and seems sweet, but wow, is he a terrible character?
I would never date this guy.
Nope.
I felt sympathy for Beth because I felt like
for Beth.
Yes, because he was so stalkery and he wouldn't let her go. I didn't love Beth. I didn't think she was a great character, but it was like, oh my God, like if this guy he would have annoyed me.
All right, Lane should be getting our sympathy, but alas, he's kind of a punk, definitely a bully, and very much a freeloader.
Yes.
I didn't like that at all.
No.
Like his dad, both of his parents mean well. And they provide for him.
Yes.
And he is...
And they're in high school, right? Seniors or juniors at least?
And it's like, oh my God forbid they want you to get a job, Lane. Really? Is that outrageous of an... Who's paying for all the skiing equipment? Mm-hmm. Give me a break. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought it was completely reasonable that they would expect him to get a part-time job.
Yes, why wouldn't they?
I have a strange like and confession.
Okay. Is it at the dance?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I really liked that song. And I don't even...
Better off dead.
Yeah, it's actually called One Way... It's actually called One Way Love.
Did you see who was singing it?
Dottie from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah.
It's called One Way Love. I gave it an A+. I wrote A+.
It's a great song.
This song is
really
great.
Good song.
It's
very
not
boppy.
It could have totally been a throwaway. It is a bop. I liked it even more now through my middle-aged lens than I liked it then.
Yeah, I really liked it too.
Fun.
I thought it was fun. It was good. It was very 80s. Like, just good. And she was good.
Out of all the, I will say this, like, remember in Some Kind of Wonderful and other, there's a lot of those dance song things. I think it's one of the better ones that I've seen.
Curtis's laugh made me laugh when he leans in, what's the guy's name, the blonde kid?
Roy
leans in, better shave her before you kiss her goodnight, and Curtis just busts out into laughter.
Same note.
So funny.
I said, Charles laughing out loud at Roy's homophobic joke is A+, and then he comes back.
On the dance floor.
Brilliant.
It's beautiful.
It is gorgeous.
So damn
fabulous
funny.
Scene. More people should treat their bullies that way.
Yes, absolutely.
Good friend. Did you get any Karate Kid beatdown vibes?
A little bit, right?
I was like, oh my God, this is definitely Karate Kid.
It seemed like it was the same
the blue light,
scene.
The fog, the hill. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And they're on bikes, like, oh my God. So good.
It was good. It was really good.
The Paperboys attack, it was so, so good.
Oh my gosh.
The mom is an awful character, just not funny.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom. I wrote the Q-tip thing in the mirror is actually really funny. Not that it's like, I don't think it's like very necessarily just ha 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 funny, but I do think it's very much something what teenagers do in the mirror.
Yeah,
they just get stupid. They feel bad. They're bored. They feel sorry for themselves, and they do like things like that. I'm like, this actually feels kind of real.
Yeah,
and even more real that the father would walk in on him.
Yeah, it was.
He has like drool.
Very funny. Very funny. I also wrote down that blind date That was funny too, where he's like, doesn't want to go out with this girl. She comes out. She's like, all right, here's the thing. You would have brought me to a movie, and you would have brought me to dinner. Yeah. And, like, he ends up just writing
smart. It's smart. This is what I mean. This movie is, like, it has different kinds of comedy. Yep. Not all of them work. That scene gave me almost Risky Business vibes.
Yes, yes.
Like, and thank God, like, a smart woman. Like, that girl is smart. She doesn't want to waste her time.
She's not a charity case.
She's not a charity case.
Nope. And not only is she not going to waste her time, but she's going to make money off of it. Deal.
Yep.
I did write, this guy really needs to learn responsibility.
Yep.
Lane.
Yeah, not a great character, sadly.
Not a great name either, by the way.
It's the guy from Porky's. It's Porky.
Oh my God, it is Porky. He's playing a very similar character.
I laughed out loud when he's like, he's training Lane.
Yep.
And to Lane's credit, he's like, now get to work. He was like, well, wait, I just have to wash my hands. You washer. He goes, yeah, I have to wash my hands. And when you touch, he's like, I have to wash my hands when you're touching the meat and the food and stuff. He goes, you wash your hands on your own time. Get to work. Oh my God, I laughed. I did laugh.
He makes a great bully villain type of guy. I thought that whole scene in the burger was not necessary. The burger scene. It's not necessary.
Is the biggest waste of time.
Yeah.
This movie is 95 minutes and it could have been shorter.
Yep.
The Frankenstein spoof is not good. And not only that, I wrote in my notes, like, this probably cost them a bit of money. Because the claymation, or the stop motion claymation or whatever, it's like, it does nothing for the plot.
Nope.
Does nothing for Lane. It does nothing. It does nothing at all.
It gave me the impression, and with this and also the animation stuff, I felt like whoever was writing and directing this film...
Savage Steve Holland.
I felt like he was, I want to put some claymation in here. I have claymation stuff at home.
I want a Van Halen song.
I want to do that.
Here.
I want to bring the animation to life. Yeah. I felt like these are all these ideas that he wanted to write a movie around.
I want to be clear. Yes, I agree. And I want to be clear. It looks good.
It does look good.
It's just boring.
It's
just a waste of time.
Yep.
But those burgers are cute. Those fries are funny. It doesn't look bad. It's just a waste of time. But it
is a waste of time.
It's not funny enough.
And I remember feeling that way back when I first saw it too. It was like the lowest point for me.
You know what it reminded me of? It's the little dip in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, didn't it?
Yes.
Because it's like the dinosaur sequence, and then the crane with the bike, and the dinosaur eating. Right?
It was that.
It's like this is doing nothing for this movie.
We don't need
nothing
this.
at all. It's a daydream.
Yeah. The romance with Monique was cute.
I liked her.
Yeah, I liked her too. I loved that she pretended not to speak English.
Yes. To save
smart.
herself.
She seemed like a normal, everyday kind of
Do you remember
person.
her from another 80s movie? We have not revisited it, though.
It was the American Virgin or
Last
something like that?
American Virgin.
Yes.
Yeah. Heartbreaking. I get ready for this one. Lane isn't a good employee, a good driver, a good skier, a good son, or even a good brother. And my question is, on the side,
or a boyfriend.
Does Lane... Yeah, or a good boyfriend. Does Lane suck? I think he does.
He does suck.
I also do wonder, like, why Roy, the bully, is so aggressive. Like, why? You already have Beth. Leave Lane alone.
Yeah, he's just trying to be a villain. He's trying to be a bully, but I don't know why.
He already won. He has Beth.
It would have been funnier if he was actually kind of a nice guy. Right? And he was just good at skiing. It would have been a little bit better. We don't need a Revenge of the Nerds kind of situation.
No, we really don't.
We don't need that.
You know what else we don't need?
What else?
A mother effing car repair montage. At that point, I wrote, how long is this movie? There was the point. It did
seem, after he met Monique,
a little exhausting.
It seemed like a different movie.
Slowed down. Yep.
Right? Didn't it? It seemed like, okay, well, where's the funny?
I was saying in the beginning, like, there's a lot of styles, and I think, and you're right, when they meet, it kind of pumps the brakes on, like, it's like sort of zaniness.
Yes.
It's not very good, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately.
Anyway,
the rookie stuff was kind of funny. The rookie stuff when he starts dancing.
Yeah.
That I felt was kind of funny.
Ricky is nastier than I remembered him being. When he's like, my mom. I thought he was just sort of like a schlep. Like, I thought he was more of like a dweeb. But he actually has a bit of a villainy side to him.
And I kind of liked it. Like, it made me feel better.
Yes.
Right? I'm
completely.
Like, I don't want to just not like him because he's unattractive. But no, he's actually kind of an ass.
Yeah. He really mistreats Monique.
Yes.
I heard, didn't Lane get fired? How is Lane still working there?
Yeah, he still has keys somehow.
I don't understand.
And why
that.
would they give him keys? Like, he is
Did
not
he not
responsible.
get thrown out?
And that was like, he was training. Are they giving him
trashed the place. It
Yeah.
made no sense.
It would have been better to have it maybe on the new car that they restored or something. Do something different at a park. Actually, it would have been better to go to Dodger Stadium. Maybe they could have been in the parking lot of Dodger Stadium and he could have had a surprise little picnic there.
Which they do at the end.
They do at the end, which is kind of stupid.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
And how did that even happen?
How do they get the car in there? Where's the security?
Yeah, that's like a bit fantastical.
Yes. How about Curtis in the middle of the movie, not at the end? Curtis helps him to break in, almost like a Some Kind of Wonderful situation, right?
Yeah. One of my biggest unintentional laughs.
Uh-oh.
The stunt double for Monique on the skis.
It's so bad.
Man. I mean, he has like an afro. It does not look anything like her at all. I wonder if it was even a guy. It's so ridiculous, the stunt double for her. I did laugh when the paperboy
shows up on the skis.
Yes, laughed out loud. But the only thing is, when it was the lamest little I wish there was more like a goofy scream when he goes crashing off the mountain.
Yes, does he scream?
He goes,
I want my $2.
Yes, but at first it's like like a little lackluster.
Yes, I'm glad they showed that he did not perish. I'm like, did they really just kill that poor paperboy? It's so stupid that it makes me laugh.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I just wrote, murder anyone?
I have to say, I liked the skiing on one ski.
Yes.
Oh, it was really good.
Yes.
I thought it was pretty good. I'm not, we talk about that we're not quite sports movies fans.
No, we're not.
But I thought that sequence was pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was exciting. It was good. It was good.
And let's see.
And then Beth tries to go back to him a little bit.
And he kisses her. He kisses her immediately, which I did not like at all.
No.
It's like, where's your self-respect?
And then he's looking for Monique, and he kind of doesn't even say goodbye to her.
Wait. He immediately kisses Beth, and Monique sees this and walks away. And that's when he realizes, like, I was shocked he even kissed Beth.
Yeah, I was too. It was almost...
She's awful.
I think it was just, he was wrapped up in the excitement.
Instinctual, yeah. Believe it or not, that's all my notes.
I don't have any more notes either.
You barely looked at them, Christina.
Well, I was kind of like looking. We were saying the same stuff.
So a lot of the same stuff.
We were saying the same stuff.
Did you like the food stuff? Like the crawling Jell-O?
So what always bothered me...
Let's hear it.
Back then and now, I thought the food stuff was funny-ish.
Yeah.
I'm glad they only did it twice with the bacon and the other swap.
Yeah. Nope, it's a lie. I'm sorry. They did it 3 times. One was the octopus trying to get out of the pot.
Octopus, yeah.
And then the other thing was the Jell-O crawling across
I mean, whatever. If it was missing, I wouldn't have bothered me. But what always bothered me is they plop the thing with... It has raisins. You like raisins. And then when he looks at it on the plate, it's clearly not the same thing that you plopped.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I cut that.
So I didn't like how different it looked.
Yeah.
Like, they could have made it look a little closer.
Yeah.
And I get it. And, obviously it's funny. But, I mean, it's okay. It was okay.
All right, then. In that case, those are all my notes.
Oh,
the big question... And we flew through this.
We did?
But it is a short movie.
It's short.
And it's not... Here's the thing: there's not a whole lot of character development. There's not a whole lot of big scenes that you can even really deep dive into.
Right.
There's not a whole lot of much of a through line. It's a lot of different kinds of humor that don't always work.
Right.
But more. Now we both loved it back then.
And we did love it. And I will say I liked the chemistry between him and Monique.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anybody else that we missed.
I mean, I love Charles.
Charles was great.
I have to be honest, for a young cast, I think everyone delivered. I think everybody delivered. I don't think that any of the acting was bad. A lot of times that's an issue. The other issue?
Oh, well, the only other issue I had was they restored that car, and it was like friggin' brand spanking. Like, that was
gorgeous.
Unrealistic.
One positive, actually, this is in my notes, that Rich Little dubbed the Howard Cosell voice for the Asian drivers. And... I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong on this, I don't think there was any racism in this?
No.
Because we also bump our heads into that a lot when we revisit comedies in the 80s.
Especially something like this.
So here's the thing. Savage Steve Holland didn't really like that the Asian voiceover, he was afraid they would be laughing at the wrong thing.
Interesting.
And so he had Rich Little dub it over. But he never told the actor that was in the car.
No
So when we went to the
kidding.
premiere, he's like, you know what? If you're going to be dubbed by somebody, be dubbed by Rich Little. And he was a
Right.
good sport about it. He was surprised. They never told him. But I think there was a concern that they're like...
But it works better.
It definitely works
Yeah.
better. And I think there's less of a joke on like an Asian way of speaking or
Yeah.
English as a second language kind of joke, which is just so lame. I liked how they tied into this. This is how he learned English, was by watching this.
Right.
And so it was kind of actually respectful.
Yeah, I think it was too. And even like the gay...
For the 80s.
You know, the gay bullying joke, right?
That's right.
That was very refreshing.
That's right. There was a homophobic joke, and the bully, the kid that was thrown at, fought back with laughter.
Yes.
And it was very effective.
It was.
So I have to give credit to this.
Definitely.
At the same time, for me, it is less. Like I said, for everything I laughed at, there were a couple of things I didn't laugh at that just didn't really work. I was fearful because we've just struck out so many times with these revisits of these 80s
Yes.
comedies. But not as bad as I was expecting. How about you?
I will say a little less.
Yeah.
But not as less as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I did still laugh at the same stuff. It was refreshing. The same stuff you're saying. Refreshing that it wasn't bigoted and
Yes.
homophobic and all that.
Although, by the way, the women all called their own shots.
They sure did.
They sure
Yeah.
did. I mean, Beth was dating everybody.
Yeah.
That woman was
And-
dating the whole basketball team.
And we don't see Ricky's father. I'm assuming that Ricky's mom is a single mom.
She was doing it.
Right? She was doing it very kind of positive.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that a lot. So
Yeah.
I liked the revisit a lot. The big negative for me is just Lane. As a character
Yep.
is like not very likable.
Yeah.
I really, really loved it back then too. It would have
Yeah.
been hard for
That
to
I agree
not-
with that. It would have been hard to be like, yeah, I loved it just as much when I was a child.
Yeah.
Here's the trivia: the budget was $3.5 million. Box office was about $10.5 million. So it was did pretty well. John Cusack allegedly walked out of an early screening of this movie. He said he hated it. He yelled at allegedly, it's all allegedly, allegedly yelled at Savage Steve Holland saying, "You made me look like a fool," allegedly. Years and years later in an interview, someone said, "Did you really walk out of Better Off Dead and you hated the movie?" He said, to be fair, I wasn't crazy about many of my movies when I watched them for the first time. He's like, I'm very critical of myself. It was much more of a criticism about me than about the movie, and I enjoy how much it means to so many people.
Well,
There you go.
So the answer is yes. That's the PR spin of yes.
I mean, to be fair, he does have to do a lot of things in this movie, and
Yes.
a lot of. I mean, and also, we didn't even talk about that very first scene when he has the cord over his neck.
Right.
It just goes there. It just goes there.
It
It's
just
like
goes there. And that's the other thing I wanted to actually mention is I felt like it could be a very sensitive subject.
Yeah.
Seeing this kid trying to commit suicide.
Yeah.
But in the movie's credit, he does at one point, like, he has the cord around his neck and he's like, "This is stupid. This is death. I'm not doing this." And then his mother accidentally knocks
Which
him off
is
the step,
funny. Which is funny.
hilarious.
Yeah.
So it never feels like, even as a revisit, it doesn't feel that wrong.
Well, even the in the trash thing, he's like, "What am I doing? What am I
Yes,
doing?"
he's
And the
not
friend
really
comes over and is like,
doing
"What are you doing?" And he
Yeah.
just hits him off by accident.
Yes.
And so, this thing is like, it's the dramatization of like,
It's
when
like
you're
the
when you're a
teen
teen,
drama.
my life is over, my life is over. Yeah, exactly.
So here's a question for you, Brian.
Yeah.
We revisited 16 Candles recently.
We did.
And you hated the character of Sam.
Yeah.
So who's worse, Lane or Sam?
Sam.
Wow.
I prefer
He
Lane.
did not even have to.
No.
He did not bat an eye.
Nope. Maybe it's because I'm a boy or a man, and Lane is a boy or a man, and you sympathize more with Sam.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. Sam was a fucking brat. She was just like, and she was like, she went out of her way to complain about things over and over and over.
Okay.
Anyway, I have a match game.
I also have a match game. Why don't you go first?
Okay. Lane's mom said that Lane always seemed to have a death wish. In fact, when he was a small child, his favorite bath toy was a blank. He always seemed to have a death wish. When he was a small child, his favorite bath
Got
toy
it.
was a
I got
bath.
it. I got it, and it's good.
And mine's good too.
Ding.
All right, his favorite bath toy was a...
Cement block.
Oh my god, that is so good! I put a toaster.
That's really good too.
Christina, that's really good.
Oh my god, yours was really good too.
Oh my god.
I
All right,
love
let's
it.
hear yours.
Okay, so as we know, Lane constantly tried to commit suicide.
Oh, yes.
You know, had lots of suicide attempts, but he was really bad
Yeah.
at it. One time he tried to overdose, but he used blank.
Oh.
Really bad.
All right, I'm giving some specificity to this, but hopefully
Okay.
the judges will be lenient. I think this is the answer.
Okay.
Ding.
Ding. Okay. Lane was terrible at trying to commit suicide. He once tried to overdose, but he used blank.
Flintstone vitamins.
Oh, that's pretty good. I said M&Ms. But I love that.
That sounds like a delicious way to die.
I like yours better because it's kind of like pills.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I don't think anyone should be ODing on vitamins.
No.
Anyway. But yeah, M&Ms. Oh my god, I would love peanut butter M&Ms.
Oh,
I
yeah. Well, I
think
used to like the Flintstone vitamins.
You have to be
I used to
careful,
actually
though.
like those,
Yeah.
but I didn't eat. Actually, I don't even think my
I
mother
used
bought
to
them.
love
My mother didn't buy them. I think because they were too expensive.
But she loved you.
But like my neighbor had them, and we'd go over and I'd be like, "Can I have a vitamin?" Like, I wouldn't eat a lot of them, but they were yummy to me.
They
were
were
candy.
almost like not Spree. What am I thinking of? Remember Spree? The
Yeah, I
long
know what
tube?
you're talking about.
What am I
They're
thinking of?
like
The taste is
almost like,
like,
a sweet tart or
The
sweet heart. Like, you
yeah.
know, like
Sweet tarts.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Oh my god. Well,
But
anyway,
that was
How did you watch it?
Video.
You did. Okay.
And
DVD.
oh my god, in the middle of it, it started like skipping a little bit. I'm like, oh no.
Oh, How did I also watched a DVD?
Yeah. I don't think
weirdly
that's
enough-
anywhere.
Yeah, and
Anyway.
weirdly enough, there were no special features. It was truly like
Oh my god, it started immediately.
Yeah, it was play movie, scene selection, subtitles, no special features at all.
Crazy.
Which is weird because it's kind of a classic.
You would think there would be a little something.
Huh. Well, friends, that was Better Off Dead. And that's it for us and for this episode of Old Roommates.
Thank you for listening. Please remember to follow us on Instagram or YouTube, where we have our episodes as well as a little extra.
And if you have any questions about our show, any suggestions for movies we could revisit, reach out to us at oldroommatespod@gmail.com.
Thanks again for listening.
This is Brian.
And this is Christina. Until next time.